Samuel Rovers shouldn't be in the position that we were in. But unfortunately, you're in that position, so you've got to get out of that position. And then, of course, it's difficult, isn't it? Because sometimes we honestly felt like, what can we do? You know, we were obviously playing well, but in spells, and then you can see it, and then it's a bit like, oh, here we go again. But you know, I always felt like we were always confident that we could turn it round. You know, in the discussions we had together, it wasn't like, oh, we weren't giving up at all. And as you see towards the end, it click in the end and things like that. It's just, I think sometimes in football you just find yourself in them moments where things unfortunately don't go right for you. You know, obviously I was on the receiving end of a few decisions and mistakes of my own, where sometimes if you're at the top of the league, you might get away with, you know, heading it back to your keeper and he just comes in, collects it and things like that. But I think it's always hard to actually look back now and think, what was the problem? I think collectively as a group, we had to take responsibility. You know, it's not just all on the manager, it's not just all on the staff, it's not just all on us. I think it's everyone as a group. And I think as players, we have to take responsibility for the poor. You know, at the end of the day, we're the ones on the pitch. We're the ones who can impact the game. And unfortunately, it just wasn't really a good time, and things weren't happening for us. And then obviously it becomes hard then when the fans and things like that, which just you know, it's justifiable. You know, because at the end of the day, they're paying money to come watch us, and if we're not performing, then you've got to take, you know, because they're the first ones to cheer you when you are playing well. So.
You talk about it clicking at some point. It obviously clicked after there was a change of manager. Now, I know you didn't play under Andy Crosby, but are you able to tell us what he did that made such a difference to that team that had gone 10 without a win under Nigel Adkins, and then Andy Crosby comes in and turns it around?
I just think sometimes, probably, you know, in football, I've been in changing rooms before where sometimes just a new voice and a different kind of perspective on things, and you know, he's a very I don't know how to word it really. You know, he's a very, like, he cares, Cros, and we you know, we had a few. I don't know. I think a few of the lads said it in the press. We had a few things where, you know, we all had to get up and say a few things and about your life, about where your background and things like that. And I just thought probably little things like that probably brought us together in that time of the season, because sometimes you think, oh, what's up with him today? And then you realise he's got that going on or whatever. But I think it was just accumulation of things. I think maybe as well, the change of shape probably helped. I always felt whenever I played, I thought we always suited the back three personally, just because of the personnel that we had at our disposal. And I think it just suited a few of the players that we had. But I don't know. You know, again, just it can be sometimes just a new voice, can't it? And a new way of doing things, a different way of doing things. But yeah, it was in the end, it was a good finish to the season and one we all needed.
Certainly was. I don't want to ask you your opinion on Nigel Adkins, because that would be unfair of someone who is still very much involved in the game as you are. But in terms of those games that you played, I mean, there's the sendings off, isn't there, against Wimbledon and Swindon. What's that moment like when you're trudging off a pitch, when your team's losing it and you are down to 10 men? How hard is that? How lonely is it?
Very, very, very. And again, it comes back to the point of position we were in at that time. Obviously, again, it was back to back as well. So so it's just a bit like, what can I do? You know, again, I probably shouldn't have went over to the ref. I probably shouldn't have touched them or whatever he sent me off for. But I honestly didn't think there was anything in it. It's easy for me to say that. But again, you say it was a very lonely place. Obviously, at the time, we were struggling, and you know, you almost feel like you just let everyone down, players, staff, fans, and things like that. So it's a difficult place because, you know, when you get sent off, it's never nice. But when you get sent off twice, yeah, it was tough to take. And for someone like me as well, you know, I cared a lot about the position Samuel were in. It wasn't like, you know, I didn't care and I was down in tools or whatever. And you know, it was just unfortunate moments for me, which again I'll have to learn from. And yeah, again, it was just a really disappointing time for myself.